Hey everyone, welcome back to PEDEVCO, the place where we uncover the hidden stories in corporate filings. Today we're diving into PEDEVCO Corp's latest report, and let me tell you, it's a tale of board changes and stock awards that might make you scratch your head just a little. Before we dig in, if you love getting straight answers from these often dry documents, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And hey, we've built a fantastic community over on Discord to discuss these deep dives further. The link is in the description below, so come join the conversation. So what's the big news from PEDEVCO Corp? Well, they had their annual meeting on August 28th, and this report spells out some pretty interesting decisions that were made, particularly concerning their board of directors and how they're rewarding key people. It's not just about the numbers here, it's about the people making the decisions and what that means for the company moving forward. Let's start by getting a clear picture of who we're talking about. PEDEVCO Corp is a company with its shares trading on the NYSE American under the ticker PED. They're incorporated in Texas and their principal executive offices are located in Houston. Now, what's really grabbed our attention in this filing are a couple of key sections, including compensation for some of their board members and the outcomes of their shareholder meeting. First up, let's talk about how PEDEVCO is rewarding its non-employee directors. On August 28th, they handed out some special stock awards. 3 key individuals received these awards. John Selfo, a board member, got 200,000 shares of restricted stock, which will start vesting on July 12th of next year. Dr. Simon G. Kukes, the chairman, also received 200,000 shares with his vesting date set for January 1st of next year. And H. Douglas Evans, another board member, was granted a 14,000 shares with his vesting date set for January 1st of next year. Dr. Simon G. Kukes, the chairman, also received 200,000 shares with his vesting date set for January 1st of next year. Now, these aren't just free shares walking out the door. The key here is that these shares are restricted, meaning they're earned over time or vested. You have to remain a board member on that specific vesting date to actually get the shares. Pretty standard stuff for director compensation, ensuring loyalty and commitment. There's also a really interesting clause about what happens if the company is sold or there's a major change in control. If a director is removed from the board because of such a change, all their unvested restricted shares will immediately become fully theirs. This is a common way to incentivize directors to support deals that benefit shareholders, even if it means their own tenure on the board might end. And why are they getting these awards? It's pretty straightforward. The company states these grants are in exchange for them serving as non-employee directors. This is a way to compensate those on the board who aren't full-time employees, often for their expertise and oversight. Moving on to the shareholder meeting itself, which also happened on August 28th. This is often where the real pulse of shareholder sentiment can be felt. So, what did the shareholders vote on? Well, 2 main things: the election of directors and the appointment of the company's independent auditor. The shareholders re-elected 5 director nominees and approved the appointment of Weaver and Tidwell LLP as their accountants for the year. This is pretty routine, but the details of the votes are always worth a look. To even have a valid meeting, a certain number of shares need to be represented, and that's called a quorum. In this case, over 68 million shares were present, which is more than the majority needed to conduct business, so the meeting was legally in session. This also gives us a baseline of how many shares are actively engaged with the company's governance. Now for the juicy part, the actual vote counts. Let's look at the election of directors. John J. Selfo received a whopping 67,919 votes in favour. Only 330,790 votes were withheld. Some 1,332 toned for, and 27 shares were marked as broker non-votes, which basically means the broker holding the shares didn't have instructions on how to vote them. The overwhelming support here shows strong confidence from shareholders in Mr. Selfo. Dr. Simon G. Kukes, the chairman, got 66,977,002 votes for him. A slightly higher number of withheld votes here, 360,707, but still a clear mandate with the same broker non-votes. Next, H. Douglas Evans garnered 67,000 on 5 and 321 votes. In favour, he had a very small number of withhold votes, 332,388. Again, shareholders are showing their support. J. Douglas Schick received 64,064 votes for him. A strong showing from the shareholders with a low number of dissent. And finally, John K. Howie with 67,234,927 votes. In favour, he had the fewest withhold votes of all the directors, a mere 102,782. This indicates a high level of confidence from the shareholders in his leadership. Now let's look at the ratification of Weaver and Tidwell LLP as the company's independent auditors. This is essentially shareholders saying, yes, we approve of the people checking the company's financial books. A massive 68,472,107 votes were cast in favour of keeping Weaver and Tidwell. Only 6,061 voted against it, and a tiny 11,418 abstained. There were no broker non-votes for this particular item. This overwhelming approval means shareholders are comfortable with the accounting firm and likely trust their oversight of the company's financial reporting. So to wrap up the meeting results, all 5 directors were clearly elected by a majority of the votes cast, and the auditors are also good to go. This indicates a generally smooth and consensus-driven meeting for PEDEVCO Corp. Finally, the filing lists out the exhibits, which are the actual documents supporting the information presented. The first is the form of the restricted shares grant agreement, which details the terms of those stock awards we talked about earlier. It's incorporated by reference from a previous filing. And the second is the inline XBRL document, which is basically the digital format of the report's cover page, designed for machine readability. Now, looking at the whole picture here, PEDEVCO Corp seems to be operating with a stable board, at least for now, with strong shareholder approval for its current directors and auditors. The stock awards granted to directors are not auditors. The stock awards granted to directors are a clear signal of the company's commitment to retaining experienced leadership, but it's always important to watch how these awards translate into actual performance and how effectively this board steers the ship. Are there any hidden risks or challenges in the horizon that this report doesn't fully disclose? That's what we always need to keep an eye out for. Alright, that's our breakdown of PEDEVCO Corp's latest filing. What do you think about these director awards and the shareholder vote? Do you think this is a good strategy for the company? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more dives into the world of corporate finance. And seriously, come join the conversation on our Discord channel linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.